Hello, I am Mariano Gutierrez Alarcón and welcome to the 12th Man Academy, the show that asks the questions we believe the fans want to know about football. Joining me for this series is well-known and passionate manager Gus Poyet and our voice of the fans, long-suffering supporter Stephen Brown. Together, we will get inside the pitch and hope to answer your doubts about managing at the top end of the game, while we get the inside track of being a top-level football manager. In each episode, we get a better understanding of the thoughts, the decision-making, and the philosophies of a top-level coach, from picking a club captain to tactics and team identity as we connect the fans to the manager. In this series, we reference to past events as we use examples that were happening in the football world at the time we recorded this podcast. In this episode, we discuss players' responsibilities. Hello, Gus. Hello, Steven. How you doing?
Hi, Mariano.
Mariano,
Hi, Gus.
Steven, you okay?
Okay. Hello, Gus.
Hi, Mariano. Hi, Steven. Sorry about that.
Hello, Steven.
Hello, Mariano. Hello, Gus. How you both doing?
Very well, thank you.
From previous episodes, one issue, one subject, one theme that it was very important is talking about players' responsibilities. Gus, what are the players' responsibilities?
Well, first, before going into details of the responsibility of the players, I got a sentence that one manager said that the responsibility of the players first and most is coming every day training. They sign a contract to train every day, and the game is a plus because the game, if they're gonna play or no, is gonna be decided by the manager. And I think sometimes I really like that definition. I didn't know that when I was a player. I didn't use it, but I thought it was spot on because that's a reality. They have to train every day. They have to give their maximum. They have to be professionals. They have to look after the body because they depend on the body. And the extra bit is the games. I think the main, apart from that, responsibilities is as soon as you sign a contract, you become a player, you need to defend those colors to the maximum of your ability. Bottom line. Every time you have the chance to put that shirt, you need to defend that club to the limits of your ability. Effort, maximum concentration, maximum desire, and really show the people of the club that you deserve to be there.
And the people of the clubs is the fans as well, is everything, is the whole...
Totally. I think you know very quick when a player is going to be recognized by the fans because the fans, they sense it, they can see it. They know what you're going to try to give. Then you can play good or bad. When a player gives everything and it is clear and you can see it, I think the fans, especially in England, they love it. They really appreciate that. And then the result is a consequence and anything can happen. But even in teams that get relegated, the fans, they show that they know that the players, they try the best. And I don't think there is a better feeling for a fan. Obviously, they all want to win. But to see that, I mean, Steve, you can explain it.
Yeah, we want effort. We want the blood, the tears, the sweat, everything, because it means so much to us as fans, and it's something we can't do ourselves, and we want to be that person. So what you did at Tottenham Hotspur is exactly what I wanted to do since I was a baby. So you fulfilled my dream by playing in the central midfield at Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, thank you. Well, with me, another thing I would say the Uruguayans, I say this a few times, we Uruguayans, we go to the negotiations or we send our agents or whoever is negotiating, and we negotiate everything possible, okay? To the end, to the last bit, we really pull to the limit. But as soon as we sign the contract, that's over. The contract is in a draw there. And now the only focus that we go to Uruguay is to train well to win Saturday. And that's what we show on the pitch. I think that's what I try to show the fans of my clubs. If we go to talk about now another Uruguay in the Premier League, Bentancur is showing that every time we play for Tottenham. What Luis Suarez show his character in Liverpool. So we are that type. Cavani, even when he was not playing a lot at Man United, we forget about the money because that's the part that obviously we all play for money and it's very important for our family because it's a very short career. But the main thing with the Uruguayans, when I say one Uruguayan in a team is very important because from the moment that contract is done, the focus is my family, my friends, and my club. Don't touch nothing of that because we got a problem. And I think that shows on the pitch. And it will be, for me, the biggest responsibility, to defend the colors of that club to them.
Do you think that's a cultural thing? Because obviously there's a lot of Argentinians that have played for Spurs that have that as well, just apart from now you yourself and Bentancur.
Yes, I think so. Yes, I'm not saying that there is no exceptions, like in anything, play with different characters, but it's a way of living, it's a way of understanding life, understanding sports, and you learn that when we're very young. Then obviously there is other things. I think the football change. We'll probably agree, the three of us. It's not the same the football that you were able to play in the 80s and the 90s. We can go even to the drinking culture in football to nowadays, which is totally, the contrary. I mean, nowadays the level of fitness and the level of physicality that you see in football is extraordinary, and that is another thing, Mariano, that we need to put in that
context.
Under that word, the context of that word responsibilities is how fit you are, how strong you are, how much you look after yourself, how you eat, how you behave.
That actually open up the question. Says, okay, yes, we, as you said, the players have the contractual responsibilities, go and train. And if you're picked for your team to play on Saturday or the games that you have to play, and that's the basic minimum responsibility. But then probably would be nice to focus also in the players' responsibilities, because when you train tactics. When you train movements. And I remember the reasons why we started this podcast was these interviews that I did for a question research. And this question research was based on a pedagogy in sports that is called teaching games for understanding. And this teaching games for understanding is using football or basketball or any game, any team game, to teach other things that are not sport, like solidarity when you defend, or how you organize yourself to face a problem, or how you open up the discussion towards more complex things or to solve a problem. That in football happens every time. What I want to focus on is tactically, what's the player's responsibilities? So, how does it fit the responsibilities when they play? And if you can give us an example of what would be a good example of showing responsibility when you play as a player.
It's perfect. The question is spectacular, because as soon as you were finding the right words to say that question, I was thinking about myself, the difference of me when I arrived at Zaragoza and when I left Zaragoza for Chelsea. And my feelings during that, because I grow as a player, as a midfielder, as an offensive, I had the feeling when I left in my last 2-3 years at Zaragoza that I had a responsibility of scoring more than 10 goals a season. That was my responsibility, the main one. Obviously, you need to run, you need to play in a position, you need to mark your man in corners, and you need to do plenty of other things. My main responsibility at Zaragoza was, if I don't score more than 10 goals playing 30 plus games, the team will suffer. Because I was lucky enough to play, for example, my last year, I remember always, because it was a special one, Morientes up front, and I played just behind him. And between the two of us, we needed to score 25 plus goals. If we didn't reach that number, then it will suffer to win football games. The rest, they had a few to score 5, 6, maybe we go into goals responsibility. But for us two, it was very specific. And he scored 16 and he scored 14. And we didn't take penalty. So we reached 30 goals. You finish in a good position, I promise you. Because when you achieve the numbers, like a goalkeeper will look at clipping clean sheets, obviously with the defense, the defenders as well. Sometimes I try to put that in consideration. The goalkeepers that they kept many clean sheets during their career, because they had a good defender in front of them, or a good team defending organized. It should be a little bit more sharing that prize. I think sometimes when you talk about great defenders in England, like could be the Tony Adams, John Terry, or Rio Ferdinand, whatever we can say from Spurs as well, we should be counting how many clean sheets they kept when they were playing as a defender, because they were part of their responsibility, the defender, to keep a clean sheet. There is games when you have a certain way of playing, you're going to score. That there are teams that they go into the games and okay, this team is going to score today. What they try to do is, if we keep a clean sheet today, we win the game. It could be a contradiction, because the team is starting thinking of scoring goals, but that you're going to score goals. The thing is, can we keep a clean sheet? Keeping a clean sheet today, we win. And that clean sheet is responsibility of the full team, but especially the goalkeeper, the back four, the defending midfielders, because they are in a situation where defending is one of the biggest responsibilities. When you start adding this, I always said, give the main responsibility to the player before going into the pitch. One thing, like a goalkeeper, like today I need you more than ever to command the area, because they cross too much, and I need you to help who crosses. Obviously, you need to save them, you need to catch them. That's part of the game. But for this particular game, if you can help us in that, we're going to keep a clean sheet for sure. And things like that.
Is that man management? Is that just to encourage that one player, or is that you really do need him? You're telling him what the truth. I need you. This is your responsibility. Or do you use it in different ways?
Steven, I think there is certain times I follow a lot my instincts that I like to tell the players, in this particular case, your main responsibility. I make an example just for people to understand. You're going to play Crystal Palace, and you know that Zaha is in a good moment. And you need to tell your right back, okay, today, if you defend Zaha 1v1 and you beat him in your 1-to-1, you're stronger than him, you win that duel, the 1-to-1, I think we're going to have a great chance to win the game. And I think that gives the player, the word that we're using, a very, very specific responsibility on the day. And the player knows that if I do a good game today, we're going to have a better chance of winning the game.
Just to drop, sorry, Mariano, just to say, coaching kids, it was very much a good way to do it as well, to give them responsibility at that young age, because then they get bigger. They become bigger and they carry something with them onto the pitch, and it's something that they enjoyed. But it's interesting that you might be doing exactly the same thing with someone that's a professional.
Yes, I don't use it all the time, because you know how we are football players, we're human beings, and when you repeat it, the players go, yeah. But in certain occasions, boom, specific. I remember one that it could be interesting for people listening. We had Kasenga Lualua at Brighton, and we used to say to him, today, we need you in every half, minimum 5 crosses, and minimum 5 times in the second post when we go on the other side. I'm going to count it, Kasenga. I'm going to be counting. And if you're not doing it, you're coming out. And it's incredible, but the player goes in thinking, probably he's counting as well. One, I did another cross. It's like a name that sometimes we give it for granted in football. And as you know, players go on the pitch and they're looking for the game. And then, this kind of game, you say, okay, 20 minutes went past. What did you do? Nothing. Come on. We play 20 minutes. You done nothing. Because, they're waiting. No, don't wait. Do what you have to do. What you are good at? Running and running and running. Run. What are you good at? Winning the ball in the air. Win every ball in the air. From the first minute. Don't wait. Just to see. And that's something that sometimes you need to put in there to the player, because they like to have as well that kind of, okay, I must do this today. I like to give this kind of topic, and I think it works. It works very well. And it works as well with the player knowing that if he doesn't do it, it's coming out. And when you change a player, that it doesn't know. But when a player you change and you go, yeah, I know. I'm coming out.
A second question. Sorry, Steven, I have to rub into the Spurs fan. Now we're watching Spurs going to a very rough patch of having good games, bad games, good games, bad games, and we don't know which Spurs are we going to get every game. Steven, you can say mostly fans are not happy with the system. More than once, I was thinking, are the players playing for the managers? They know they have to do something different, but they're afraid of the manager. And sometimes at Spurs, it was my feeling that they don't know for who they're playing, or they have a fear for the manager. I don't know what you think, Steven, first, for saying, probably expanding more on this question. But
yeah, I think in the case of Tottenham, it's just that we play a system, and no matter who you are, you play in that system. The systems, we go back to plan A's, plan B's, how we adapt, these players adapt to it. But it just, with Conte's system, it's just that it doesn't change unless it really has to. And you think you've got Emerson Royale and now Porro, 2 totally different players, but they're playing exactly the same position. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well.
And in responsibilities.
Interesting. Most of the coaches, and when they have the possibility to sign players, they prefer one system, whatever it is system, okay? Because they think, and we are convinced, that when we explain that to the players, it's easier for the players to understand, and they're gonna be able to do it. So we believe a lot in that convincement, in that way of training, and why we do it, and the players, they're gonna see it, blah, blah, blah. The difference is that when you change, and you need to be like explaining every time, and then it gets confused. When you have this kind of up and downs, that is happening to Spurs, that it looks like, okay, now, yes, 2 or 3 games very well. Boom, it's coming the bad one, and it's coming up. It's because there is still some of the pieces that they are not working well, and I'm gonna try to explain. You know, in the beginning of the season, everybody was expecting, beginning, maybe Reguilón playing on the left with this system, and Doherty on the right, or Emerson Royal. And then Reguilón disappeared when nobody was expecting. Started with Perisic and then changed the left wing back a lot. I think still Conte looking for that little click to make the team consistent. And for that, you need every player. And Bentancur was a key player. And now without Bentancur, it's already a step back. So I think this season, until now, the position on the table for me is good enough. With a little bit of consistency, it was already wrapped, you know, the top four, and it was no doubt. Now there is a little bit more doubts because of this situation. Mariano, I would like to say that you will know 100% when the players are not playing for the coach, 100%. And I play 17 years football, and I've never been in a direction where we even think about it, seriously. And we had plenty of excuses to do it. What you can lose is the positive mentality of the players because they are not happy how the coach wants to play. And then they go into a pitch not very happy. And if that repeats itself, then it's going to show that maybe, like you say, oh, look, they are not playing for the manager. I make you an example, and I ask everybody who is listening that we are in the week after Liverpool beat Manchester United 7-0. If this game it was under Mourinho, they would say the players they were not playing for the manager. But because they're playing for Erik Ten Hag, and 1 week before he won the cup, it doesn't matter. So I think sometimes it's a little bit unfair. It's depending on the personality of the manager, how well liked he is, and who are the players. And but I would say
No, I'm not saying. I didn't.
No, I know, but it's a good question because I heard it 100 times. Oh, this team is not playing.
I didn't mean that the player is not playing for the manager. What I mean is probably is not taking the responsibility to get in the game from the scruff of the neck, to do what he knows as a footballer he needs to do for that game because it contradicts the instruction of the manager.
Oof.
For example, once I remember Steven, and I remember one time in your car going to play footy, and you actually mentioned the anecdote between Anderton and you when Glenn Hoddle asked you to play in a way, and then you look at Anderton and says, if we play like this, in this position, we will lose because we're too slow, and this team is too fast. And then we says, I'll do this, you do that. We managed to win the game, and Glenn Hoddle couldn't say a word because you won the game. And that's, in a way, is taking responsibility.
Yes, the problem, I think I probably play, 500 games or more, and making those kind of decisions, maybe I made it 5 times. In 500 games, 600 games, it was very, very specific situations where what I needed to do on the pitch, I was not able to do it because of a physical ability or because of, the position was better than me or whatever it was. And you needed to make a decision in there to win the game, not to go against the manager. I think the worst, Mariano, is when the responsibilities you've been given, you know that you cannot do it and you are not strong enough to say it. I think that's a terrible situation. So when the manager is asking you to do something that you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. And because you want to play, you don't say it. And then you go to the pitch thinking, I'm not going to do it. And then it looks like you don't know what you're doing. And it does happen sometimes. And I think that's the perfect example of a Steven. You cannot ask Emerson Royal one thing and Porro another. The same thing. They are different players and they have different abilities, even if they play in the same position. But they cannot do exactly the same job because they are totally different players. And the same if you have what we said before, Reguilón or Perisic. They're totally different players. What you can do, yes, is ask them to do the basics of their position because that is the best position. So the basics of that position is up and down. We go to the other side, you need to become like a back four, full back, and then you can be a winger and the wing back situation. But one got certain abilities to do certain things and another one do different. If you put in one other because of the particular game, either you're going to win the game in that side or you want to defend that side, depending on the characteristics of the player. That's a good mix. Having 2 players that they are not similar, but that they can do different jobs in that position. But if it's just because it's the choice that you have, it's complicated because you lose one and maybe the next game you need that one, not the one that you have. So that's when the system you're trying to play maybe doesn't fit the quality of the player. And that one is, if that extends too much, you will know it because the team won't win. You will fail in your objectives. And that's something that you need to wait to the end of the season. Sorry.
I think it's interesting you said that out of all the games you played, there's about 5 times where you took the responsibility in the example Mariano gave, because we're always looking for players to take responsibility. You watch highlight shows, you watch pundits on a TV. He needs to take the responsibility. He needs to get in there and do this at the central midfield, blah, blah, blah. So we're being told that by pundits and people who have played football, that these players need to take responsibility. And then we expect it. So we expect the two midfielders who are being overrun by 3 to take the responsibility and work out how to play that and how to bring in the support from the fullback or from the centre back. But if you're saying that basically players don't do that because they're playing in a system and they're told how to play, and I think that's what Mariano meant with they don't differentiate from what the manager wants, we expect too much and we don't understand what is happening.
No. The problem is push because of the journalists. The journalists, they are sitting in the stand, and when we are sitting in the stand, it's too easy. And you can see that we lose in the midfield because we are 2v3, for example. I think that kind of situation is responsibility of the manager to sort it out. It's not of the player. When the pundits they talk about the responsibility of the players is when something goes really bad, that they got the chance to a leader to call the team, and the other day 4-0, okay, finish the game. Don't keep making it open, keep conceding, okay, that kind of decision. And I think the players, they try to first be respectful to the manager and to the team, and to do the job that is being asked for, and then anything he can add, you are a better player. Not everybody is in a position to do more than what is being told. When I say that 5 times, it means that we made very strong decisions about the position where I've been asked to play and how I'm going to play. Then you got your own responsibilities as the one that I accepted all my career. So I think we need to make a difference between very, very strong decisions. That's what I mean with 5, really extreme decisions that when you are in the pitch, and even if you've been told do this, do that, and you can see that if doing that is not working, then you make a decision, and sooner or later you will explain to the coach. Obviously, you need to make a good decision. But most of the time, we respect the coach. Most of the time, we respect the situation. Sometimes some people will complain, and we tell the coach if he can help us, and normally there is a solution. To go to your point, Steven, a little bit stronger. Mr. Wegner said that the coaches, we can influence the game 20%, I think he said. There is other managers that because they got an ego, they're going to say 30 or 40. This means the ones that can really affect the games are the players. And that is the main responsibility. They got a job to do, they got the ability, they get paid to that job, and they need to do it to the best of the ability most of the time. And when they do it, you are a better team. And when they don't do it, you get sacked. It's very rare that a coach is going to be able to influence, the game 50%, because you cannot change like in basketball constantly in and out, it will be a nightmare. So there is a big responsibilities on the players, and they need to do it. Example, Eric Ten Hag. He was not the best manager in the world when he won the Carling Cup or whatever it's called, Carabao Cup, and he's not the worst manager because he got lost 7-0. Still the same top manager that he is. Now, one day, the same team, do you know that, Steven? The same started 11. They won the cup, they lost 7-0. Where is the manager responsibility? Because either he's responsible for both or for no one. And that is, I believe that as a player, and I believe as a coach, the ones that can really affect the games are the players. And that, for me, we can put in there the same level, players, fans, players. That's football. That's the top. The fans, they are there at the top, because without fans, it would be terrible football. And the players are the main ones. Without them, we don't have football. And is there. Then we can start adding the referees, the managers, the coaches, the press, or whatever the order you want. But the players are up in there. And I think as it is, that's why they are the most responsible one.
I was wanting to ask about Emi Martinez when he went out for the corner against Arsenal, and his manager was asked.
It's a very good question, that one, because 99 out of 100, the goalkeeper look at the bench and kind of ask permission to go. I cannot tell you if he did ask, because I don't know. I didn't see it. But I've been in a situation like that.
Apparently, he didn't have permission to go.
He didn't ask, no? So I'll tell you the situation normally. In 94 minutes, 30 seconds to go, 1 minute to go, corner, and the goalkeeper looks at the bench and start pointing, I go. And normally you look and you say, go. Or no. Because I told a player no once. They gave 4 minutes, and it was 90 minutes, 30 seconds. Wait, 3 minutes and a half. I mean, Man United won the Champions League in 3 minutes. So stay there, no? Like I said, most of the time there is a connection with the goalkeeper. Now, it looks to me like in this particular one, even if we didn't see it, it was not, no? And that's why Emery said he's not going. Or he doesn't like it, or he thinks it's not live.
Yeah. So he was asked a straight question. Did you give him permission to go for a corner? No, I didn't. I don't do that. I don't like my goalkeepers going up. There was still time on the clock. And once he'd done that, we lost.
It's perfect because now he knows. And if he does it again, he got a problem. I won't. It's not like I'm defending the keeper here. He probably didn't know. He probably thought it was.
But 40,000.
No.
40,000 fans. He's taking responsibility. Great. Go and get the goal. We're still in this.
Because it was a league game, Premier League game. I don't think it make a difference. The goal. You can say at the end of the season, you can. Because of that goal, the goal after the corner, you're gonna finish one position below. Yeah, it has to be a terrible coincidence. You need to be careful in a cup game, or maybe you still having the chance to equalize and go to extra time. It's a different matter. It depends on your feelings. I think a few times I'll let the goalkeeper go naturally, and a few times no. Also, you need to know the goalkeeper. No, if it was Peter Schmeichel, I would let him go every time because he scored a few times. He had a smell for the ball, so it's depending on the keeper as well. But I tell you what, it's true. It creates nervous in the position. It does. Because people start saying, who marks the goalkeeper? Everybody worry about the goalkeeper. Now, the biggest opposition in the box is the goalkeeper. Well, it shouldn't. No, it should be the number 9. It should be the center half, which is the top one. But it creates a little bit of a security. Sometimes help. Sometimes you consider another goal. But the good thing about this bad situation is that now it's clear. Emery doesn't want his goalkeeper to go bottom line. Boom. So if somebody didn't know, now they know. And that's important as well. Sometimes you cannot give every single little information to every single player every time, and things need to happen for you to be able to tell. I'm sure that if you look at the bench and they say, no, it doesn't go up. I'm sure. Now, he made a decision, he took responsibility, didn't work. Now, can you do it every time? That you go every time up and every time you consider goal? That doesn't look very intelligent. So it did happen. I think it's clear now.
Now, you mentioned before that some squads, when they are young, they have less experience. We talk about the experience of players and the importance of taking responsibilities. And basically, there are two teams now that they're in a very, very strange situation. One positive, Arsenal, with a very young squad, taking responsibilities, winning regularly. And then, we mentioned a bit of the Chelsea mess now with so many players and who is taking responsibility of what. How do you analyze these two teams in terms of players' responsibilities?
I think Arsenal, obviously, giving the credit the players they deserve. I said it just a few minutes ago. They are the biggest responsible because they play every game and they need to, execute, do the execution of the actions in the perfect way to win football games. The last minute shot, that's a responsibility he's taking and hitting it well, and he's using his quality to win the game. The manager picking the players, training. But I'm gonna say something that maybe not too many people they are talking about, and I like to analyze. I think the biggest or the best decision if he made Arsenal is when in the beginning it was not working with Arteta. The club stick with him. It was a very easy situation to sack him. He had a terrible spell. He had moments that everybody was really fuming about the way the team was playing. The board said, this is our manager, he's going to make it work. And now, a few years later, because it looks like he went to Arsenal 5 minutes ago, and he's been there for a while. It means that now he put the little pieces that he needed to make a team, even if they are young, because he knew from the beginning, and it's big difference to what people was thinking in the beginning. In the beginning, people thought that Aubameyang would be a key for the future of Arsenal. He's not there. In the beginning, many people wanted Xhaka out of the team, and he's playing every game and playing very well without the armband, the captain armband. So there is certain things that they happen and that they are contrary to, in the beginning, what every single fan was thinking about it. And that shows that Arteta knew how to go, but he needed time. Great credit to the board for sticking with the manager, and obviously praising the manager and the player. Chelsea Chelsea, I think, is a new way of understanding business and football. The Chelsea fans, they don't know. And I always say there is two ways to buy football players. You buy a player for now, today, yesterday, because you know you're going to play him today and he's going to perform. The players that they know the league, they got certain experience, Mariano. They play already 200, 300, 400 games. They're strong enough. They are mentally strong. So you know you're going to get through that. Or when you buy Perez for the future, which the future, it could be 1 year or it could be 3 years. Now, it's a different way. And there is certain young players that they came to Chelsea that they got plenty of quality. They got a great future ahead, but they coming from another country, another language, another culture, totally different league, the strength of the league, massive responsibility, going back to the beginning. And we are all different. We three, we are different. And not because I play or I play more than you, Steven, or more than you, Mariano, means that I will adapt earlier. No, there is a thing that mental, physical, system of play, qualities, that depending on all that together, you will adapt quicker than another one. It's very difficult to say, oh, he will adapt straight away. No. And those players, especially the 6, 7 new, apart from, I would say that there is a difference with Fernandes. No, he went to the World Cup and make a step forward dramatically. I mean, the step forward he made with the national team of Argentina was tremendous. That I put him in that level of, okay, I'm already a settled player, and wherever I play, I'm going to play this way. But I'm talking about the young ones. They need a system. They need the team to play well. They need to adapt to each other. There is too many. They cannot play all at the same time. It's a big job that Graham Potter got in his hands, and let's see how we can do it. And especially with wins, helps and give you time. I know it's a difficult task. It's not easy.
I think with the Chelsea, the Argentinian Fernandes, he was the one that's the big surprise. The amount of money they paid for someone that's played 1 season, 1.5 seasons in Europe, I just think it's crazy. I just
No. Listen, the price, Steven. The price, yes, I agree with you. No, I'm sorry, no. I always say that the price of somebody, or the price of a player in this case, is depending on how much you're willing to pay. It's not a real price.
Yes, I mean he's paid it with the new way he's doing things, the amortization over the 8-year contract or however long these players are signing for.
It doesn't matter.
It's just in the terms of 1 season at Benfica. There's a thing on the BBC, the £1 billion football factory, all these players that Benfica have brought in and sold. But it's just, for me, it's just amazing that they did that. And you just wonder, have they bought someone off the back of a World Cup? We're told never buy anyone that plays well in a World Cup.
True.
Ask Tottenham and ask West Ham.
but look, Chelsea now go in the squad, because remember that the squad means players they are at the club or players they are abroad. They got over 100 million paid for Fernandes, 97 million paid for Lukaku, which is not here. Chelsea didn't pay, but it's a player who costs more than 100 million, Joao Felix, Atletico Madrid. So we're talking about money there. And we're talking about the consequence of paying that amount of money of any team, Chelsea or Atletico Madrid, is that player, and this is going to be perfect to finish, he needs to accept his responsibility and make the difference. Make the difference. You are a 100 million player, you make the difference, my friend. Don't ask the 3 million players to make the difference in a game. You are the one you got the responsibility of going to another level. And that is clear, because it's not the same. It's not fair. And that's something that I'm sure that at the moment, I think Fernandes is showing. I think Joao Felix, the impact in the first few games before the sending off, it was extraordinary, and that set him back a little bit. But I still think that Chelsea way of playing, it suits Joao Felix. And Lukaku, remember, it was a nightmare that coming back in the second part. So that is Mariano, the thing that we were missing, When you pay an amount of money, which is so much for a football player, that player got an extra responsibility. He needs to show it week in, week out, for sure.
And when your career, you felt that? Because at one point in your career, you passed from being a good player to be that player. You earn much more than the rest.
I told you in Zaragoza, my last 2 years, I was feeling the responsibility of achieving a quantity of goals in the season, in the league especially. But there is other responsibilities.
How did that affect you?
I think it made me more focused, concentrate, more aware of the situation, be better prepared. I'll tell you another thing that some people doesn't understand, but it's a responsibility. When you play for Uruguay national team, you must win, and that's a big responsibility. I mean, you can say big pressure, but it's a responsibility. And I think it's something that we can say even as Spurs. There is certain players there that they've been trying for years and for years to win a trophy, and they have that responsibility of bringing silverware to the club, and it's been not possible at the moment, and they're still trying because they know how important it is. And when you finally achieve that, I think you are a different player. You are a different person. You become someone who knows that, okay, I did what everybody wanted me to do, and in a specific, unique way. And I think sometimes that responsibility can play against you. You say to me, I was more focused. Some people get nervous. You know, they say the difference between nervous and excitement is very little. The symptoms are the same. You got that feeling like your stomach there, and people say, oh, I'm nervous. And people say, no, I'm excited. I cannot wait to play. And it's more or less the same. It's depending how you take it mentally, one way or the other. But the responsibility of winning is another topic that we can put in the post.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is a good wrap up, Steven. Thank you very much, Gus.
Thanks, Mariano. See you, Gus.
Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Mariano. See you soon. See you next.
Speak soon.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to the series, leave a winning review or a 5-star rating on the platform you're listening on. And do not forget to check our website at www.12asintheword-man-academy.com and let us know what would you like to know. If you would like to sponsor this podcast, please email us to sponsors@the12manacademy.com. See you next time at the 12 Man Academy.